A little TGL action. We've had 3 matches, I think, in the last 2 days. We had a Kisner Shank. That was a hell of a moment. Ended up actually winning that hole. But Kiz, who's there might be a reason he's plus like 500,000 to win this week at the Cognizant Classic. Nice little shank from our boy Kiz. But a bunch of matchups. The Bait Club beat Jupiter Lynx. Atlanta beat Boston. LA beat New York. We had Brooks Koepka was in attendance last night. Did you see him bopping around with Jenna Sims?
Very interesting. On the course.
Yeah, he was. He was right out there. He was just hanging around. All those pictures went crazy. Everybody was mucking it up. Him and like Max Homa laughing it up. So I thought that was a little interesting.
That weirdly made me feel like things are getting close. Like that felt like a like on purpose thing that Brooks did. Like if they weren't starting to hear rumors from their people on the inside of like, yeah, things are getting pretty close. I don't think Brooks Koepka shows up there. I know he lives around there, but I just don't think he would have shown up if he's not hearing some rumblings that things are moving in the right direction. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it is a heavily tour-based thing. It's been only tour players. They don't have any live golfers. There haven't really been any live golfers on it discussed during it. Tour funded, right? Tour, I believe, is like a part owner of the entire league. So for Brooks Koepka to be there, they showed him on the broadcast, right? They were going around showing different athletes that were in the crowd, different notable folks, and they showed Brooks Koepka. I thought it was nice to see. It was almost like heartwarming a little bit. Like it wasn't that long ago. There was all this bad blood. People were invoking, terrorism, human atrocities, all kinds of just horrible bad blood between the two. Phil Mickelson was like banished from the world for months. And then now we've gotten to this point where, we've had a couple different live players over the last 2-3 years have won major championships. They did the match and I believe that was December where they had a couple of the live players against a couple of the big tour players. And now you've got Brooks wandering around the TGL thing voluntarily on a Tuesday night. It was kind of heartwarming. It was like, oh, the band's back together. There's a little bit of a fracture. There's a little bit of a civil war there, but like they're coming back together now post-war and they're mingling and they're hanging with their families. He brought his wife. It was kind of like nice to see, I thought.
Yeah, him walking in, he definitely felt the juice. Like his heart was probably pounding walking through those doors, knowing like this is going to make the rounds, like getting ready that night with his wife, being like, we're going to go to TGL tonight. This is going to be a whole thing. Like, it's going to be like, everyone's going to know, like, this is also just, it's a look into the current state of affairs of golf. And, it's a huge, like a movement forward. It's momentum in the right place. So yeah, that's a big, that's a public appearance. That's like a political public appearance.
Yeah.
That you would see in like House of Cards. Like, we're going to show up to this thing and it's going to let everyone know a certain thing about how this is going. And I thought it went great. Yeah. I mean, it was very well received. There wasn't a lot of like this, I can't believe it. It's more like, wow, Brooks is actually mingling with these guys. Imagine a TGL team with Brooks, Bryson, and Cam Smith like that. Like, that would be so cool.
I think if you're still on the side of like, oh, this, I don't like seeing these people together. It's like, man, you got it all wrong. Like you don't love golf as much as you are portraying that you do. We want to see these guys together. Like if you're still like, I'm a live guy, I'm a PJ Tour guy, I don't know what to tell you. That's like a year ago take.
That's weird.
Weird
it's a
stuff.
Weird move. I agree. Yeah, no, it was great. I'm with you, Frankie. I very much enjoyed thinking about the entire process of him making that appearance, right? Like he's got to, he's got to get ticket seats. So he's reaching out to somebody from TGL. They all know the same kind of people. He's reaching out to somebody from TGL. He's reaching out to the players, right? Like to Kiz or Homa. I'm sure he's like, hey, I'm going to swing by tonight for the match. He's not just like walking in there unannounced, I imagine. So he's like, what time are you guys going to get there for warm-ups? I'm going to roll over. Like, that's a big call, like you said. Like, Jenna Sims getting all geared up, making sure they look good. What are you going to rock? Like, he and Smiley were both rocking Grove 23 hats. So it's like pretty neutral there, right? Like Jordan's course, they're all members there and play there. So we went with like a neutral hat. It was just kind of it was something that it was extremely political where you really had to ponder. And again, we might be looking into it because this is what we do. He might have just been like, oh, I'm just going to go to TGL tonight with my wife because it's fun and it's right down the street. He didn't think much of it, but I like to think that it was a massive decision for him.